Tonight,
I can tell you firsthand how much of an incredible person he was and that he was dedicated to the service of Canada.
we're learning more about the pilot of the CF-18 fighter jet that crashed near Cold Lake yesterday. And the second draft of City Council's 2017 budget shows a much leaner deficit than originally projected.
This is Newcap News with Nicole Stilger.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Canadian Forces pilot killed in a CF-18 fighter jet crash has been identified as 29-year-old Thomas McQueen of Hamilton, Ontario.
I can tell you firsthand how much of an incredible person he was and that he was dedicated to the service of Canada. He was a qualified flight lead with deployment experience in Eastern Europe on Operation Operation Reassurance, and had combat flight time in the Middle East on Operation Impact. His energy and dedication caused him to be recognized as a leader among his peers, and he will be and is forever missed.
McQueen was a 10-year veteran and was engaged to be married soon. The crash happened near Canadian Forces Base Cold Lake during a routine training mission yesterday. Officials say it's too early to determine what caused the plane to go down. Well, Lloydminster City Council now has a better idea of what the books will look like in 2017 as administration presented the second draft of the budget at Monday's meeting. Among the changes, a significant reduction to the deficit, revenue generation strategies, spending cuts, and a possible burden on the taxpayers. Adam McVicker has more.
So we've got to do a balancing act, and I think that we have some work to do, but we will do the best we can do.
The second draft of Lloydminster's 2017 budget has one glaring highlight, a significant reduction to the forecasted deficit next year.
We've gone with a fine-tooth comb over other things, identified different strategies, different initiatives that we brought forward, not really through one specific area, but really looked at the global picture.
How did they do it? A proposed plan to increase revenues by $7.1 million. That includes the sale of $3 million in city-owned assets, an adjustment to fees, and a 4% increase to the municipal levy.
If we could avoid raising taxes, that will be my first choice. That will be the first thing I'll take back into budget deliberations and discussions. Can we do it without that? I'll have that answer closer to the next final budget.
The draft budget also states an increase to the levy is necessary to maintain service levels after an 129% increase to city expenses over the past 9 years. The proposed increase equates to $55 annually on homes assessed at $350,000.
The real cost of anything is what you have to give up. And I think as we've gone through the process of reducing our budget up to this point, you know, the question that I always worry about is, so what is it that we have to give up in terms of what we do with the city?
And giving up is what they'll have to do. A cost reduction strategy totaling $3.3 million that features the dissolution of the Lloydminster Economic Development Corporation and slashing $1.8 million from operational expenses.
We still have to provide core services, and yes, it might mean the services aren't to the same level that we might like them, but we got to do the best we can with what we got available. Replacing the sewer and water lines that need to be replaced, the new landfill pit, those are essential services. They have to go. To leave the streets and not repair them just means bigger bills down the road.
Now, all these cuts in spending and increases in taxes are only proposed since it's the second draft of the budget. City administration will now take the council's input and the input from the public on the budget survey. They'll take all that into account as they prepare the final draft to be presented on December 12th. Reporting from downtown Lloydminster, Adam McVicker, Newcap News.
While a local company is helping the Lloydminster Food Bank continue to provide for the community, Northern Factory Workwear presented a check to the charity this morning. More than $1,600 was raised through the company's ongoing I Love Canadian Oil campaign.
Right now, times are tough for a lot of people, and we thought the food bank has a lot of stress on it, especially this time of year, so we thought they could use the money especially.
The Salvation Army says company donations like this one are necessary to keep up with demand.
These sponsorships are absolutely vital for us. We main donors are usually oil field beyond the personal donations, and this year's been a little bit trying for a lot of companies, so having something like this happen is pretty awesome.
Yeah, if you could get that.
Northern Factory Workwear will continue selling shirts, hoodies, and hats to raise money for the food bank. Well, it was a class project bigger than what the teacher expected it to be. Holy Rosary students in Global Media Studies watched a documentary about a woman who used social media to start a revolution in Syria. Now that same class had the opportunity to speak to the documentarian herself. Gina Martin has the details.
Questions prepped, TV on. Grade 11 students met the woman behind the documentary, #ChicagoGirl. The documentary shows how Ala Besetne was able to coordinate on-the-ground protests in Syria from her home in the Chicago suburbs, bringing awareness to the many civilian casualties allegedly no one was talking about.
I think it's important for everyone to know what's happening in the world, because you really, you need to, see how your life is compared to other people, because we're living in a luxury, really, compared to people dying every day.
The Skype conversation covered many of the students' questions, from Ala's current endeavors to her feelings on Donald Trump's outlook on Muslims.
And it was really amazing to see how she dealt with all these difficulties, and she rose above the occasion.
I felt it was really informative. I think she answered all of the questions that we had for her, and it just kind of helped to put an actual face to what we've been studying.
And with social media integrated in many people's lives, it also provides insight to both students and Washira on how it can be used as a tool.
We don't really think about it as teenagers, but the way we use social media could be the wrong way, because she proved us wrong by using social media to start a revolution, but meanwhile we take Snapchats or
Usually I just go into Facebook and I look through videos and things, but I didn't really think that she could use it to raise a voice.
And for Washira, this experience could be the start of many projects similar to this one.
I would definitely try to Skype with Allah in the future again, because this is a documentary I would love to use again. But it's also made me feel a lot more confident and motivated to try and contact other people who potentially could Skype with us.
Gina Martin, Newcap News.
Well, a cat and a dog are the focus of Pet Project this week. Rob is a 2-year-old domestic short-haired cat. Bear is a 6-year-old German Shepherd. Here's John from the SPCA.
Are you looking for a laid-back cat to cuddle up to this winter? Well, you just have to meet Rob, a 2-year-old domestic short-haired cat. Rob is such a relaxed cat that loves nothing more than to sit at the top of his cat condo and nap away the day. However, once you're home, he'll be snuggled up next to you, purring away. Rob absolutely adores people. To him, a stranger is just a friend he hasn't met. Rob is also a very tolerant cat. He doesn't shy away from anything. As long as you're spending time with him, he'll be in heaven. Even if you're not a cat person, after spending some time with Rob, you'll realize how amazing felines really are. This one is not to be missed. Be sure to stop by the SPCA and meet Rob today. Some dogs can just win you over with a look. Bear, a 6-year-old German Shepherd, is one of those special canines. Once you look into his soft, gentle eyes, you'll be hooked. Bear is as friendly as they come. Everyone he meets is a new pal, and he'll show his appreciation by never leaving your side. Bear enjoys nothing more than going for a long walk and exploring his environment. However, after a long day, he's perfectly content to cuddle up next to the fireplace and have a long winter's nap. Don't let his age fool you. Bear still has many years ahead of him. All he wants is that special family to be part of and share his love. Be sure to stop by the SPCA and meet this wonderful fellow today.